What's going on, everybody, and welcome back for episode 43 of Hit the Books. This week we got a bunch of news and things from the NHL, NFL, MLB. So let's uncover episode 43 by introducing my co-hosts, Huff and Mackie. Mackie, start us off this week. What's happening in MLB second half of the season starting up? What else do we got, buddy?
What's going on, guys? Yeah, we had the MLB All-Star Weekend or whatever it was this past few days. So that talk about not a lot of sports going on right now. So we're working with what we got, but you know we're gonna be talking like Madden. There's a lot of Madden ratings that came out this week, so we'll go over that and then just the basic stuff. So Huff, what's going on with you?
Yeah, not too much going on with me. Happy to be back another week, episode 43, as I think Jesse said, but excited to be back for another week. As you said, yeah, we're officially in like the sports dog days of summer. Once the MLB All Star break kind of comes and goes, late July, it's kind of tough to kind of just wait till college football and NFL is right around the corner. So definitely going to have a lot of stuff coming in the coming weeks as we look ahead to college football and the NFL. But like you said, as far as this week, got some NHL stuff, a little interesting stuff coming out of the MLB this past week, as you said, with the All Star Weekend and some news with maybe the now defending home run derby champion. So we'll get into that in a little bit. So yeah, let's get into this NFL section. Let's get right to it.
Yes, let's start the episode off with some NFL. Jumping right in, we got some news out of San Francisco. The San Francisco 49ers have officially given quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo's agent permission to seek a trade. Jimmy G has been cleared to start practicing as well, so possibly some big moves for him out of San Francisco. What do we think?
So supposedly the teams that are interested in him are Seattle, which is in the division, and I've already heard that that's not an option. The 49ers are not going to trade him in the division. The other one was the Texans, I think, but they said if the deal was going to get done with the Texans, it would have already gotten done. So I don't know if that was something that kind of had a deadline for one of the teams to maybe come to an agreement with one of another. But it's kind of interesting that they're putting it in the kind of, I guess, his agent's position to go seek the trade. I always feel like that's kind of interesting when they do that, but in the end of the day, the GM still has to, put the final agreement on it. So it'll be interesting to see what happens to this. Obviously, the 49ers are looking at their future with Trey Lance under center, so we'll see what they can do.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all saw this coming. I could just see him going like a shitty team, having a very mediocre year with a bad team, and just kind of falling off the face of the earth, to be honest. He's one of those quarterbacks who's been carried in his career, so I think he's gonna go to a shitty team and get exposed, and I don't know. That's pretty much it.
I saw someone say, "What if he goes to Tampa Bay and backs up Tom again?"
I think he would retire.
Yeah, that'd be so funny.
Yeah, but I think he could be a starter, maybe a low grade starter in this league, but I don't know. I feel like a
Yeah,
Tex.
put it this way: like he's not top 15, but there's not 30 guys that I'd rather have over him
Yeah,
right
okay,
now.
yeah, exactly. He's good enough to be a starting quarterback. I think Texans are a great spot for him, to be honest,
Yeah,
just for him to stay in a starting spot.
that division's so wide open with how unproven that new Colts team is. With Matt Ryan, and obviously the Titans are losing their star receiver. They're kind of losing guys all over the field. Obviously, they still have King Henry in the backfield and Tannehill. So, uh, and then Jacksonville, who knows what's going to happen with Trevor Lawrence with his first year without a full year without Urban Meyer. So we'll see if he can reach his full potential. So that would be a nice little destination for him. The AFC South, it's kind of like I said, a wide open division. Not really wide open, kind of more two teams favored at the top, and then the drop off for the Texans and Jags, but definitely would be an interesting landing spot. Obviously, he has the experience, never winning the Super Bowl, but has gotten there, has been on some really good teams, and definitely has a lot of playoff experience. So he can add to a team. Like I said, I don't think that there's definitely not 30 other guys that are better than him right now. So I think he'll find his spot.
Yeah, I agree. Hopefully he does for his sake.
next we got Cooper Kupp winning Best Championship Performance awarded by the ESPYs. Little award there for the boy.
Yeah, I didn't even see this until right now. That's obviously well deserved. The Super Bowl MVP, a huge part of why the Rams won that game. Bengals weren't an easy out for them. Obviously, a lot of people thought that the Rams were going to win the Super Bowl. They were pretty favored in that game. I know the spread was only 4.5, but the money line was pretty steep on the Rams just to win that game, and because of guys like Kupp and the performance they expected him to have, and he absolutely fulfilled all expectations. And what do you have? The 1 or 2 touchdowns? 1.
One, I think.
Yeah, he might have had 2.
I
Maybe
don't
1.
think
They didn't.
so.
They only scored what, 23?
Yeah, so what?
23-20
2
was the final
touchdowns.
score. Yeah,
Or-
you're right. Okay, yeah, he had 1 and Odell had 1.
Odell had the first, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, hell of a performance by him, and obviously in the Super Bowl, no bigger stage. So
Yeah,
you
and
got to
just
figure that guy was going
and
to get this
everything
done.
that I feel like everything that he did throughout the entire year and throughout the entire playoffs came into play in that award. But I mean, definitely still well deserved. He's an incredible player all year and he's being recognized too. So he's just adding to his accolades.
Do you think he has any kind of drop off going into next season?
Yeah, but not to an extent where it's like a problem. I mean, you go from a triple crown, there isn't
Yeah, that's
really
what I mean.
you're
I
at
know
your
the
peak, so
standard is so high right now.
you gotta go down a little. But I mean, I think he's still dominant player this year. Maybe not to this extent, but I don't really think he drops off, especially not this year. Maybe in a few
Yeah,
years,
yeah.
see him downgrade a little throughout the years, but no, dude, that guy's
That's
really
the biggest.
athletic. He's such a huge part of that team, staying in the same offense, same system.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing is him. Obviously, his consistency throughout this season and his just kind of steady growth is just throughout his entire career. He's just been getting better and better every season. So
And the
obviously,
type of
putting up a
player,
stat line this year,
he
it'll be
is,
interesting to see what he does. Yeah.
it's not a fluke. Like when you play like that, like people just can't keep up with you. You're more athletic than the people. And at the end of the
Yeah,
day,
it's his yards after catch is what just blows me away.
and like that'll catch up with him, yeah. But he's got a few more years of total dominance, I think.
Yeah, before that catches up to him, I agree.
Yeah.
And even when he gets older, he's gonna be a beast. Just possession receiver, just 8 yard slant, throw it to him.
He's gonna be
Don't fall down.
like a better like Danny or Julian Edelman.
Yeah,
I think he's
and
definitely
because
better.
he's bigger than him, he's bigger than him.
And I think he's a little more athletic too.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, good for him though. Well deserved.
Recently retired and former New Orleans Saints head coach Sean Payton said on Tuesday that he thinks he will get back into coaching. Pretty interesting move. How old is he now?
He's not
He's
not that old. He can,
50. Yeah, he's not that old.
if he wanted to, he can coach for
Um,
another 15 years. I saw something
Yeah, there
though.
was. Go ahead.
They were
Go
talking
ahead.
about Mike McCarthy and how his safety of his job after this year. And they were saying like it's kind of a joke, but even on ESPN they said or on SportsCenter they said that they're like, what does he have to do to keep this job for the following year? And the guy said, ask Sean Payton not to come back because I mean I guess he wants to go. They're talking about him going to the Cowboys, but Sean Payton's an incredible coach, so I hope to see him back. He shouldn't have retired this early.
I just was never that high on, I guess, the Saints and Drew Brees and him. So I just guess my opinion on Sean Payton is a little different. But I don't know. He gets all that praise from all these obviously like huge football minds. So you're gonna give him the praise that he's earned as the Super Bowl champion. But the consistency throughout his whole career, obviously, like you could point the finger at Drew Brees and say, yeah, he had one of the best quarterbacks ever. But I also have a different opinion about Drew Brees than most people. But yeah, I do agree. I don't think he should have retired or needed to. I think it was more the situation that the Saints team was in. He was ready to step away from that organization and try to go in a different direction. Obviously, with the contract situation, I don't think that. I think it's kind of a situation where you see like these players kind of threatening retirement to get out of a contract or sit out the year to get out of a contract, and I think that's what you're going to see with Sean Payton here, maybe in the next year or so. Him come back to a team like you said. Maybe a Cowboys, see what happens in the next season, or maybe mid-season this coming year, if it's eligible in his contract. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here. But yeah, that's I don't know. I guess yeah, I don't know. Like people compare Sean Payton up there with like the NFL like greats. I'm like, he won one Super Bowl. I don't. He's a good. You know what I mean? Like he's better than most. He's above
Yeah,
average NFL coach.
no,
But like I feel like he's very overrated
I know
compared
what
to the
you're
way people
saying to the
talk
point
about
where
him.
like they put him in like with like that historically great group that they have. Um, but I feel like he doesn't get that praise. I guess his name is up there, but I don't know. I don't think he's really. I guess he's overrated. I guess you could say he's overrated, but he's better than a little above average, I think.
Like I feel like you have the same kind of opinion about me as Drew Brees. You're not the biggest Drew Brees guy, right?
I'm not a huge Drew Brees guy either, but
Yeah,
that also that makes me think that Sean Payton is even better of a coach.
I agree. And that team when they won the Super Bowl, dude, they were so good. Fucking Reggie Bush was he? He was on that team, right?
I think so. What year did they win it?
It was
I wanted
6?
I wanted to say '06
No,
too.
2011.
Was it that late?
What year was the Hurricane? 2010. They beat the
I
Colts.
thought 2010 was Green Bay.
The 2010 season, that Super Bowl was technically the 2009 season.
Okay,
The year
so
before the Saints won, it was the Steelers and Cardinals.
yeah, okay. Is that Heinz Ward catch?
That was the Santonio Holmes back in the
Santonio.
corner, back corner of the
Santonio.
end
I
zone.
thought it was Heinz Ward. I don't know why.
Heinz Ward was the Super Bowl 40 against the Seahawks, that trick play.
No.
But now I need to know if Reggie Bush was on this team. Yeah, Reggie Bush was on that team. That team is loaded. That team
Yeah,
is loaded.
that team was definitely loaded. You know, he got his Super Bowl. I guess it makes his legacy a little like that much better. So if he doesn't have that, you're completely different conversation.
Yeah, and they beat a pretty stacked Peyton Manning led Indianapolis Colts team.
Peyton Manning only had one Super or two Super Bowls.
One with the Colts and one
Yeah,
out in
because that
Denver.
last one that he won saved his
Yeah,
fucking legacy.
he beat Cam.
Yeah, and the worst Super Bowl of all time.
Yeah,
The
that
first
Super
play
Bowl
was a
was so bad.
safety.
No. That was the Seahawks beating Peyton.
So what was
When the Seahawks beat the Broncos, the
like
first play of the
43
game
to
was a
8, right?
safety, and then they punted them the ball, and then they got a turnover and scored, and then they threw like a pick six. It was literally like 18-0 before they could even think
Yeah,
about it.
it finished like 43 to 8, right?
Yeah, 43
So
to 8 was the final
that
score.
Panthers game it was like 16-13 maybe. I feel like it was
Um,
all defense. Didn't Von Miller win MVP?
yeah,
Yeah, it was like all defense.
I'm looking it up right now. 24-10 Broncos won.
24-10, yeah. Maybe
Yeah, I just remember Cam. They couldn't do anything.
well, that was when Cam was like 14-2, right?
Yeah, that high-powered offense of Carolina just got shut down.
It was just Cam not knowing what
That
to do in the
Denver,
Super Bowl.
yeah, that Denver defense was too good.
Yeah, definitely. Cam felt the pressure.
Von Miller was so fucking good that year.
Alrighty. And going back to what we talked about last week with some teams unveiling some new helmets and such with the new ruling from the NFL, the Carolina Panthers are the latest team to unveil their alternate helmet for the 2022 NFL season, switching things up from their traditional silver helmet with a flat black helmet. Got a photo here. Pretty sweet looking with the big, panther on the back, right side there that I can see. Flat black, like it says. I like
Yeah,
it.
those go with the jerseys pretty well. Those are sick. And obviously we were just talking about the Panthers, so I didn't even mean to
Yeah, I think they
go
look
into this.
good too.
Yeah, I've never been I've never been a fan of silver football helmets. I just think they're always there's always a better option than silver. Like for example, how the Patriots are bringing back the Pat the Patriot one. They're obviously the one that they've worn for the past 20 years, being the silver one with the Patriot logo that you're thinking of on the side, and the Panthers and the silver. I just feel like A lot of these silver helmets, I just feel like there's a lot of better options, but the flat black, I'm not necessarily huge on a lot of these teams switching to the flat look, kind of like the college and stuff like that. I more like the more like fun and kind of like the outgoing uniforms in college, but I still like when they do the color rush and stuff like that in the NFL. But as far as the traditional uniforms, like the flat helmets are still kind of something that are going to take some time to grow on me. Ones I do like for flat helmets are the Minnesota Vikings. I like their flat purple ones. They're just normal ones that they wear all the
Those
time.
are
But
dope.
yeah, though. But then like you look at other ones that are so ugly, and those fade ones that the Jaguars wore for like 2 years.
The
You know what I'm talking
it's like
about?
a matte looking thing.
Yeah, they were brutal.
Yeah, it like goes from like gold and the black.
Yeah, they were bad. Like that's what I mean. Like some of the flat looks are good. This is obviously a good one because it's kind of going with like an all black look with that light blue, so it kind of pops. So I like it on them. It'll be interesting. It'll obviously I'm excited to see all these new uniform kind of like combinations on the field. It'll kind of look like a real life game of Madden. Kind of like whenever you're playing your boys, just messing around with all the uniform combinations. So I'm excited to see some of these.
You're gonna see some ugly ones and some really nice ones.
Yeah, like this will look sick. Like I haven't looked at the schedule. I don't know if like the Panthers play the Bengals, but like if the Panthers wear these all
Black
blackout
and
Panther
orange.
uniforms and the Panthers or the Bengals are wearing those white Tiger uniforms, those look sick together.
Though that'll look dope. Yeah. Yeah, it
So
should
yeah,
be
some of
cool.
these
Should
I
be
I
cool.
still don't know. Is every team doing one?
I assume so. Maybe not all at the same time, but I bet you
Because like
they'll all
the
release
Steelers and
one.
Cowboys have had the same helmet their entire existence.
I feel like they're just like the two teams that are like the traditional teams gotta stay the same, like the Yankees and the Pinstripes. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, yeah. That's what I hate about like when teams do fun stuff like that. Like with like for the Steelers, for example, like they're like, nah, we're too good for that. We're just gonna stick to our
yeah,
normal
we're
stuff.
too original for that. We're one of the original
Yeah, we
teams.
don't. Yeah, we don't do color rush. It's like, what do you mean? The whole league's doing it. Like, I mean, they do. They did it. You know what I mean? Like that's a bad example, but like kind of like this, for example, like the Bengals are releasing a white tiger helmet that's sick, and like I'm not saying I want the Steelers to do a white helmet, but like I've seen some people do some mock-ups of every NFL team, like what they should do, and I've seen like some white Steeler helmet, like with the white jersey. It just looks like just something different. You're allowed to have a second helmet,
Yeah,
like there's a reason the NHL teams wear white helmets when they wear white jerseys. It looks sick.
yeah. The white on white looks crazy.
Like I have NFL Network on right now, and I'm watching the fucking Chargers and Chiefs game from last year, Week 15. And the Chargers white helmets, like they're not wearing white jerseys, but when they wear white jerseys, that's a good example because they look sick. Yeah, I'm trying to think of any of the other teams that I'm like trying to think that I'm like that haven't announced something yet that I'm like these are gonna look sick. Like I think the Cardinals said they're gonna do like a black helmet. Am I correct on that?
Yeah, but I
I think
feel like
it's
that's something
similar.
we've seen before. Not
Yeah,
that
I
we
think
have
we
seen, but
have.
I feel like it's like I don't know. Not that. What are some teams that would be like sick? We've seen a neon Seahawks, haven't we?
Yeah, I feel like not a helmet. The
Yeah, but we've
jersey. They've
seen the
done the
jerseys.
entire
I feel like a
uniform.
neon helmet with neon jerseys would be like too much though.
Yeah, it's gonna be too much. I don't know.
Um,
I'd say like that's tough.
the Dolphins could have a sick one.
Yeah, the Dolphins could have like a cool that like orange or something,
Yeah,
or the Chiefs could have a yellow helmet. Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to like sit down and actually think about that. But as these come out, we'll definitely keep going over them because these are pretty sweet. Like I said, it's gonna look like a real life game of Madden out there.
Yeah,
yeah,
they
it
are pretty
should
cool.
be fun to watch.
Absolutely. A little transition NFL gambling statistic from the last season. If you would have bet every underdog money line in the regular season and postseason last year, based on $100 units, you'd be up $2,534.
That's crazy.
That's wild.
You know what I'm thinking about? Like first week, that's probably so profitable because teams are like they're so hard to read before the season actually starts. So there's probably so many wrong favorites in that week one.
See, I actually think this trend got more profitable towards the end of the season last year. You think all those
You
big
think
wins
so?
towards the end of the season? Like, think about the playoffs. Like, that means like every underdog. So that means you had the 49ers over the Cowboys. That wasn't huge, but that was a
You had
big
the
one in the
Bengals
playoffs.
over the Chiefs.
You had the Bengals riding every game in the playoffs. You had some crazy odds on the Bengals all throughout the
I feel
playoffs.
like
You know what I mean?
it's honestly probably pretty even throughout the entire season. Maybe a little
Yeah.
more heavy in the beginning and the end, but like
Yeah, I think through the thick of the middle of the season, I think it gets pretty heavy on the favorites when they get rolling. But I think, like you said, it kind of you start out pretty profitable. You might see a little dip, but I think the playoffs is run by underdog money lines. Because usually
yeah,
one of the dogs makes it all the way to the NFC or AFC championship, and usually the divisional round they're plus 250 or more.
yeah, you're right. Think
Like
about
what
like
were the
Jacksonville
Bengals? We
beating
had
Buffalo when they were 14.5 point underdogs.
That's what I mean. Like,
The money line had to be like over 1,000.
yeah. Or like you think about the last game of the season when all the Colts had to do was beat Jacksonville and they were in the playoffs. Jacksonville was like a plus 800 money line that game.
Yeah, see, like you would lose so many weeks, but then you'd have those weeks where it's just incredibly profitable.
Yeah, you'd win like $2,000 in 1 week, but then you'd lose $1,000 the next week, and
Yeah,
then obviously you'd end up $2,500 up. It'd be
it's
so
crazy.
stressful. I could never do that.
Yeah, I could never follow a trend like that. Just gamble. All right, let's get into this Madden.
Yeah, let's roll into this Madden stuff. I didn't realize that was what was next.
Yeah, lots of good stuff. Madden releasing their player rankings for each position here, the top tens. Huff, you want to roll through these?
And yeah, as you said, this past week we had the Madden 23, some of the player announcements or overall rating announcements being made for a couple of the positions. I have the top 10 for the running backs, wide receivers, and the edge rushers. I believe they're announcing some of the other positions kind of day by day as they go. Still don't know who's on the official normal Madden 23 cover. Obviously, John Madden's on the Madden edition for this year, but still no official announcement on who's on the normal cover. But we'll get right into these top 10 running backs based on their overall ranking. I'm going to go 10 to 1. So, number 10, we have Ezekiel Elliott at an 88 overall. Tied with him at number 9, we have Austin Eckler. Right above them at Aaron Jones at an 89, we have Aaron Jones sitting at number 8 at an 89 overall. Number 7, Alvin Kamara sitting at a 90. Joe Mixon, the Cincinnati Bengals, 93 overall at number 6. And then we head to Dalvin Cook at number 5, a 94 overall. Jonathan Taylor, 95, sitting at number 4. Christian McCaffrey right above him at a 96, sitting at number 3, tied with Nick Chubb of the Cleveland Browns, who's also sitting at a 96. And number 1, pretty kind of expected, Derrick Henry sitting at a 97. So this top 10 running backs, I can't really think of anyone jumping off the page at me that's kind of got snubbed from this. These overalls are kind of from the 7 to 10, obviously kind of based by 2 rating or 2 overall rating. Not too many guys. I think they got this list right, in my opinion.
I think.
I'd like to see Dalvin Cook higher than Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, I like to see. I don't understand why McCaffrey. I mean, I understand why he's that high, but I don't think he should be that high because he hasn't really played, dude. Like 2 years in a
He,
row.
McCaffrey's the definition of a Madden player. Like he's the most fun player to play with on Madden because obviously like injuries aside, he's just
Of how
shifting around. They
agile
make
he
him.
is. Yeah,
Yeah, you throw it to him out of the backfield. You can use him in so many ways in Madden, and him to get a 96 overall, like just his play style and like the one obviously like I think Chubb has been like believe me he's a really good running back, but like in Madden terms a 96 overall like I don't know
that's
he has
crazy,
a really
dude.
good yeah
I don't know. I was gonna say I don't think he should be two.
in my opinion I'd go just overalls aside I think it should go Derrick Henry, McCaffrey, maybe Chubb, Dalvin Cook, Jonathan Taylor. I'm cool with the whole 6 through 10.
I like the 1 through 5. I think they got it right.
I'm
but
just not a big fan of the
yeah,
order. I'd like to see Cook up a little higher. I think he's better than Jonathan Taylor right now.
you think so? See,
I'm a
I think it should be Derrick Henry, Jonathan Taylor, Dalvin Cook, McCaffrey, Chubb.
Chubb at 5.
Yeah,
You're saying Chubb
dude.
at 5?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just because, like, not. It's crazy to say, but yeah. To be honest,
Yeah,
look at
it's a
look
different.
at
It's
look at the other
totally
four
different
guys.
than saying. It's totally different than saying who are the top 5 running backs in the NFL. We're talking Madden,
Yeah,
so obviously Henry's not even an argument. He's going to be the number one, whether we're talking top running backs in the NFL or in Madden. So him sitting at 1, that's pretty untouchable. But yeah, I, I, I'm going to agree with you. I think I like Cook more. Um, his play style, I think, for the video game, I'm thinking more like the play style of like who you want to play with in the game. I know Jonathan Taylor was a beast. I don't know. I think either of these guys, obviously sitting at 95 and 94 overall, like they're obviously 1 overall apart. That comes down to like 3 speed and a couple agile points. So it's
yeah.
like they're the same player. So really, it's just like pick who you want. But yeah, I think I'm with you. I don't know why that Nick Chubb continuously is getting above a 95 overall in Madden.
I just feel like he. Don't get me wrong. He's a great. He's a great running back, but
He's a 94.
what is he? What is he? What has he done that's been better than these other guys? Jonathan Taylor he just had the most rushing yards in the season. You can give him that accolade. Dalvin Cook, I feel like he makes that Vikings team, that offense at least, so much better with having him in the backfield.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like, I don't.
Like even like you look at the other side, like Joe Mixon, like what he means to that Bengals team, or like the threat that he took off of Joe Burrow in the rushing game. Like, not saying he's going to sneak into that top 5, but like to talk about running backs that just improve things. So
Yeah, he's not far
um,
off.
yeah, exactly.
I
So I mean,
also
that's obviously why he's sitting right there at 6.
I also don't know about Zeke at 10. I don't know. I just don't know who I would put in for him.
Yeah,
I,
I'm trying to think of like
dude, Zeke
Najee's
is
not there
not.
yet.
Nah, Najee's not there yet. But Zeke is
Najee's
not
probably.
it anymore, man.
I didn't see Najee's overall, but I bet he's sitting right there at an 86.
Probably 85, 86.
Yeah, he's a fan favorite too. So he gets a little lean. Like when they're sitting there, they're like, "All right, I got him in an 84. I got him in 85. I got him in 86." They're like, "All right, let's go 85, 86. Who has more?" They're like, "All right, give him an 86." Like certain guys, just like I feel like they get the lean on some of the overall points from the ratings players or from the rating givers. But
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of other guys that would be kind of rounding out that top 10.
Yeah, I've been thinking.
Like not
Dude, like
no one
Saquon,
like yeah, like where's Saquon?
but he hasn't been healthy. But you could say that for McCaffrey too.
He's gonna be 11. Brandon Josh Jacobs.
He's definitely right outside there too. 100%.
I know there's someone else that we're forgetting.
I'm drawing a blank right now. I'm going team through team.
And then you start to get to like guys like Javonte Williams, guys that aren't really like proven yet with like Denver. Eckler's on
I think
here.
Josh Jacobs is 11. He's got to be.
Yeah,
And I think he's
Jacobs.
better than Zeke, to be honest.
Yeah, especially with the past 2 years that Zeke's had.
Yeah.
Zeke's another one. He's a fan favorite and like he sells jerseys, so like Madden puts him in these top 10 ratings.
Yeah, exactly. He sells jerseys.
But yeah, so we'll get into some of these. The top 10 wide receivers. I'll do the same thing, 10 to 1. Number 10, Amari Cooper, 90 overall. Number 9, Keenan Allen, 91 overall, tied with number 8, Terry McLaurin, 91. Number 7, Mike Evans, 92 overall. Number 6, Justin Jefferson sitting at a 93 overall. Number 5, Stephon Diggs, 95 overall. DeAndre Hopkins, 96 overall, sitting at number 4. Tyreek Hill sitting at number 3 at 97 overall. Cooper Kupp at a 98 overall, sitting at number 2. And number 1 overall, Devontae Adams, a member of the 99 Club this year, getting the 99 overall, sitting at number 1.
I like these ratings, but I do think Cooper Kupp should be a 99.
I said the same thing. Cup should be a 99. They
I
should
don't
both should
want
be
to.
99s.
Here's the thing. I don't think you should have two wide receivers be a 99, and I do think Devontae Adams should be a 99. But Cup, Cup just won the Triple Crown, dude. Give him the 99.
Yeah, if anything, this is the one thing where I was gonna say like it's very different in real life. Who's the better receiver? Who's the better who's gonna get the better nod in the video game? The year that Cup just had last year, I still think he's gonna be on the cover this year. I don't know if he was a finalist or anything, but I still think I thought he was gonna be on the cover of Madden, but like you said, I thought he was gonna get the 99, and just for the sake of like what you just said, the year that he had, in not giving two receivers a 99, I thought that they were going to put Adams at a 98. But the way they did it, I'm not going to argue it. I obviously think Devontae Adams is the best receiver in the league. The one that I'm interested in is obviously Tyreek Hill 97 and Hopkins 96. And then even right behind him, you got Diggs at a 95. I think Diggs is the 5 spot. I think obviously you could argue for D Hop going up to 3, but like I said, in a video game, the speed that Hill has and like that you take all that stuff into account.
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill gets the nod there.
I think the top 5 is perfect.
Yeah.
I think top 6 is perfect actually. You can start interchanging when it goes 7 through 9. I don't think
Yeah, like Keenan Allen and
Keenan
Terry
Allen
McLaurin are
could
tied.
Keenan Allen could be 7. He could be realistically.
Yeah. Yeah. And then we'll get into these top 10 edge rushers, and then we'll get into some NHL talk. These ones, obviously, there's, in my opinion, a lot more shakeup that I can name a couple guys that got snubbed, at least off the top of my head. So start number 10, Rashawn Gary, the Green Bay Packers, 89 overall. Chandler Jones, number 9, 90 overall. DeMarcus Lawrence, number 8, 90 overall. Cameron Jordan, number 7, sitting at a 91 overall. Joey Bosa, 91 overall, number 6. Khalil Mack, the newly acquired LA Charger, sitting in a 92. Number 5, tied with Von Miller, who's at the number 4 spot. Number 3, Nick Bosa, 94 overall. Number 2, TJ Watt, 96. And number 1, Myles Garrett, another member of the 99 club, getting the 99 overall rating.
Talk about it.
All right, so I'll say my snub. Rashawn Gary's not in the top 10. Max Crosby, the year that he just had last year, I'm putting him in this top 10. Maybe even not even at the 10 spot. I might even. So there's a couple shakeups. I don't think Myles Garrett should have got the 99. I think obviously the defensive player of the year. I'm not saying he should have got the 99, but TJ gets the one this year.
I don't think I've heard one person say that they got this right with the 1 and 2.
Yeah, so TJ obviously should be 1. Not saying 99, maybe 97, 98. Put Garrett right behind him.
I think he should be 98.
Bosa.
Garrett's 97.
I'm cool. Yeah. I'm cool with Nick Bosa at number 3. I think Joey Bosa should be right behind him at number 4. Then you go Von Miller at 5. Khalil Mack 6. I'm not the biggest Cam Jordan fan, but he's going to be sitting right there. Actually, no, that's probably where I'm sliding Chandler Jones up to number 6 or 7. I think Chandler Jones should be about a 94. I think he got snubbed just getting into the 90s. And then, like I said, Max Crosby to round out that top 10.
Yeah.
I don't know who's so high on Rashawn Gary or what he did in the past 2 years, but like, I mean, in like an 89 isn't that crazy, but like that's what makes me think like Crosby has to be at an 88, right? Like
he could even be an 89.
Yeah, true. But yeah, obviously this one was the one with the most like people were like, "Who's making this list?"
This also is the a lot easier to mess up. There's a lot more to bring into play. When you look at the wide receivers and running backs and quarterbacks are all eyes on them, but you start going to the edge rushers and you got to actually dig into film and stats and impact.
I'm surprised they give Khalil Mack the nod over Joey Bosa, both being on the Chargers this year.
I also think they got that wrong, to be honest.
Yeah, they did. That's what I was saying. Like, I think Joey Bosa is the 4 right behind his brother.
Ahead of Von Miller.
I think it goes. Yeah, I think it goes Watt, Garrett, Bosa, Nick Bosa, Joey Bosa, Vaughn Miller, Khalil Mack, Chandler Jones, DeMarcus Lawrence, and Cameron Jordan. I think are tied, and then Max Crosby number 10.
I like that list, to be honest.
I just think the Bosos are so good, and like they do get the hype, but they are fucking really good.
They do get the hype, don't it? Yeah, they're definitely not underrated.
Yeah, that's the thing is they're so in your face, and obviously both of their teams have so much hype. The 49ers, the success they've had in the past couple of years, and obviously all the hype around the Chargers, all these new additions, and Herbert, can he get it done? So, yeah, they're definitely not underrated, like you said.
Yeah, so as usual, Madden fucks up a little, so
Yeah, I'll do my usual roster adjustments. Um, Rashawn Gary, hate to say it, you're gonna go down to about an 87, buddy. That's generous. I don't even know he should be above an 85.
yeah, whoever made this is high on him.
He's a Packers season ticket holder, probably. He's like, I gotta see my boy in the top 10.
Yeah, lots of good stuff. Excited for Madden this year. I think it's going to be, hopefully.
Comes out in like a week, 2 weeks.
Yeah. And into the NHL, the latest news we got, Matthew Tkachuk announces he will not sign long-term in Calgary. While not officially asking for a trade, he's expected to be traded now. His 5 ideal teams he would want to sign a long-term deal with would be the Dallas Stars, Vegas Golden Knights, Nashville Predators, St. Louis Blues, and the Florida Panthers. He's very unhappy in Calgary, I believe. So, what do you guys got?
Yeah, this kind of came out of nowhere, to be honest, but I understand it with Gaudreau leaving too. I'm just surprised Ottawa's not a destination that he would want to be in with his brother, and I don't know, it just seems like a good spot for him. But this guy, I feel like he has a scumbag attitude, so I could see him
Yeah.
going. I could see him going
Go ahead.
to Dallas. He could be a scumbag in Dallas, 100%. They'll love him down there.
So when obviously, like you said, this was pretty unexpected, and then you see Gaudreau sign that deal, and a lot of people were saying what's going to happen, and with his contract situation, and then the news kind of broke that he said he wasn't going to re-sign, and then it kind of transferred into he might get or the trade's going to kind of happen sooner rather than later. And like you said, I didn't even see these potential his trade destinations that he would like.
Yeah,
Obviously,
it's like
the one
requested.
that jumps off the page to me is the St. Louis Blues. Obviously, him being from St. Louis, growing up there when his dad was playing for St. Louis, I still think that's going to be the spot that I think there definitely could be the front runner to land him. I think he fits that play style. I still don't know if obviously last offseason there was some rumblings of Tarasenko possibly wanting out of St. Louis. I don't know if that could be a trade that could get in the works if he's still unhappy there, but
Tarasenko's
obviously
not going to
finishing.
Calgary.
That's what I mean. So it's like I think this is more of a money dump. So I do think Kachuk would add a lot to that St. Louis team, and they're not far off. Again, taking Colorado to 6 games, giving them their best fight. Not saying that's something to hang a banner for, but I don't think this team is too far off if they can get the Jordan Binnington that they won the cup with in 2019.
Yeah, and obviously he's a really good player, so be a great
But
ad
like
for
you
them.
said, yeah, I'm surprised. I'm surprised Ottawa's not one of these on here. He is a scumbag, so like
Maybe
Vegas, you knew Vegas was going to be on there.
maybe that means
Yeah,
that Kachuk's gonna or Brady's gonna,
go home too.
yeah, maybe they meet up in St. Louis. But I don't know. Brady has a life down over there in Ottawa. He runs that team,
Yeah, he's the
and they're
man.
building
Him and
something. They're cooking something up right now. So
yeah, and there's some rumblings apparently like they're in the talks to get a new stadium in like downtown Ottawa. So I guess that's maybe people are talking about is that why they're kind of making all these signings and making all these splashes in the free agent market to try to get a better team to
well,
possibly get a new rink in the future. So
how many years do you
go
think
ahead.
Brady has on his contract?
When did he get? How many years has he been there? 2 or 3?
I want to say 3.
Did he play in the bubble? Like, I know there was playoffs. Did he play that year?
I'm not sure. I
Because
think he's
that was
in
now
'98.
3 seasons ago. So he's a year older than me.
I think he's in '98. Yeah.
He probably has a year or two left.
So I think he'll play that out in Ottawa, and if they get something going, he'll stay. But if they're still shit in 2
Because
years,
he'll probably be a restricted free agent, or I don't
yeah.
know the
Well,
exact
Kachuk, that's what
rulings with
Matthew
that,
is
but
right now too. He's restricted.
yeah, yeah. I think St. Louis would be a good fit for him, but you look at a team like Vegas with Jack Eichel and Stone, and a team that is not too far off from a cup run themselves, and trying to figure things out with a new head coach like Bruce Cassidy, that couldn't be too bad of a landing spot for him either.
Yeah. What a signing, by the way, Bruce Cassidy in Vegas.
Yeah, you don't get too many situations where a coach that took a team to a Stanley Cup within the past 3 years joins a team that's already ready to contend. I mean, I know they
Yeah.
missed the playoffs the last year, but they're ready to go.
That was an injury thing, I think.
Yeah, oh yeah,
In my
with
opinion.
Eichel and
Yeah,
yeah,
they were never fully healthy. They were kind of like the Islanders, not as bad, but I think the Islanders
even
are
Pat,
Islanders healthy are a playoff team.
yeah, even Pacioretty missed time last year, and they were banged up all last year. So I think a year with a healthy Vegas team, it's going to be very exciting to see what the Cassidy can do, and obviously if they get a guy like Kachuk, you got to look out for this Vegas team.
Yeah, definitely.
Next on the slate, jumping over to Pittsburgh, they trade defenseman John Marino to the New Jersey Devils in exchange for defenseman Ty Smith and a third-round pick. Also, the Penguins acquire Jeff Petrie and Brian Poling from the Montreal Canadiens in exchange for Mike Matheson and a draft pick. So Mike Matheson finally off the Pens books. What do we think about these trades?
Yeah, two kind of money moves with I said whenever this trade broke with Marino. I think the development with him, I think the Penguins were just kind of not really the Penguins specifically. I think Mike Sullivan wasn't too high on John Marino's kind of biggest fans, I guess you'd say. At times last year, him getting healthy scratched, and even at times whenever he was kind of succeeding, you would see kind of his playing time decrease. And I don't know if it was just a personal thing, or I don't know. Mike Sullivan's a pretty good coach. I like to think that he puts that kind of stuff aside when it comes to, playing on the ice and doing your job. But I feel like over the past couple of years, Marino had that really big first year with the Penguins, that breakout year. He signed the contract and then kind of, I guess you'd say, leveled off. Didn't really fill up to expectations. Kind of has stayed on that third pairing for the past year or so, and I just think it's a new destination, change of scenery for a guy that's kind of is still a very young player, has a lot of potential. He's going to go to a team like New Jersey, not necessarily a cup contender themselves, but a very young team. He has an opportunity to maybe slide up into a more important defensive role. It's going to be interesting. He was a huge player on the penalty kill for us last year, so it's a big, not necessarily a huge loss, but anytime you lose a guy that plays special teams on your team, so not necessarily something you want, but a guy like Mike Sullivan, plug and play. But as far as Matheson, like you said, another money move with some of the additions that the Penguins have made over the past month or so, and the re-signings. You knew something like this was going to happen. And Petrie, not a bad player, not really too much to say about him, but that's really it. Penguins making a couple more moves, just trying to balance out the books before the season gets rolling here.
Yeah, I agree. Money moves, like you said, Huff. Nothing more than that. Next, the New Jersey Devils have reached an agreement with restricted free agent Vitek Vanacek on a 3-year deal worth $3.4 million a year.
It's a nice little signing for them.
Yeah. What's the goalie that they have? Blackwood?
Yeah, Blackwood.
What do you think of him?
He shows flashes of being a really good goalie, but I don't know, man.
He reminds me of like a B grade Jake Ottinger.
Yeah, I kind of feel. I don't want to compare him to Jake Ottinger. He's not. Jake
They're just
Ottinger is
like
a very good goaltender. He's gonna have a very good
that's what I
career.
mean. He's just like I don't know, that it's just like that frame. Like they're both like pretty big goalies, and I know a lot of the goalies in the NHL now are getting pretty large, but like you said, yeah, Ottinger's a stud right now, or the past season, and obviously the
Dude,
playoff
I've
series he had against.
I've
Go
followed that
ahead.
kid since NTDP. He's the real deal. He's sick, dude. He's gonna have a
Are
nice
they even?
career.
How old is that Blackwood kid?
I don't know, probably 24. Uh,
Yeah, I
uh,
thought he was pretty young. So
Ottinger's 24. He's 2 years older than him. He's 98.
okay, and then they
Blackwood's
get a guy
good.
like Vanacek.
It's gonna be nice to It's gonna be a nice little battle, and it'll push both goaltenders.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. This could be good for obviously the guy, like I said, in Blackwood for, like you said, give him a little battle and see what he can do. But yeah, not much else for me from that side.
Devils Devils don't really got much going, so
Yeah, I'm not really. There's no team in the NHL I'm less interested in than the New Jersey Devils.
perfect way to say it.
They also, speaking of the Devils, that I didn't write down actually, they just signed Palat off the Lightning. Yeah,
That's a good ad for them.
yeah, they did get obviously there was huge talks all playoffs that they weren't really going to be able to come to terms with him and the player that he's been for them the past 2 years in those cup runs and getting to the cup this year. You knew he was going to get the big money. I think it's a 5-year deal. I don't remember the exact money. I remember it being a 5-year deal though in New Jersey.
Sucks for him, but good for the Devils.
Yeah, good for the Devils. And with that, I got a little stat. The Buffalo Sabres and the Columbus Blue Jackets have the youngest team in the NHL for the upcoming 2022-2023 season. The age sitting there at 25.9 years old, average age. Feels low.
Yeah, that is low.
Like, I don't ever remember hearing it be that low.
I don't know. I can't really like. I saw people say the Penguins' average age is like 30 something, and they're like freaking out. But it's like, dude, when certain teams are in certain situations, like you're not just gonna unload guys because they're old. Like, I mean, older. Like you still have your young guys. Like it's obviously your role players are gonna be younger. Like you have your speed in certain parts of your lineup. Like certain people look at like the lineup age and they're like, oh yeah, this team's gonna win the cup. It's sitting at this average age. Like that's where you want to be. And like the average weight, where like there was the thing with like the past 5 years, the Stanley Cup champion, um there was a thing that it was like the past 5 years, the Stanley Cup champion was in the top five team of heaviest teams in the NHL. Does that make sense the way I worded
Yeah,
that?
yeah, yeah. Average weight is top 5 in
Yeah,
the
like
league.
the average weight. So like I don't know, things like that I don't really look into too much, but like when you pull a stat like that and you're like the last 5 years the game's gotten a lot more physical in the playoffs. You look at the teams that win in the playoffs, they're the top five heaviest teams. I haven't really seen too many stats that kind of compare to age, but um, yeah, I do feel like
25.
that is kind of young.
I feel like this is crazy young. Because the
Yeah,
NHL in general is just it's a league you usually enter at a later age. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
you don't really
yeah,
enter until you're most guys don't enter until they're in their 20s at least.
yeah, like 23.
Yeah, like 22, 23 years old is when usually unless you're a stud, but I don't know, I feel like that's very low age.
Yeah.
Alrighty, with that, we transition into the MLB now. First up, the Washington Nationals are open to hearing trade offers for Juan Soto after the Star turned down a 15-year, $440 million offer that would have been the largest contract in MLB history, according to a report at The Athletic. That's pretty crazy. I heard about this, but who's picking him up? I've heard a couple things about. Who did I hear? Where do you guys think Juan Soto is going to end up?
I just first off, him in the stage of his MLB career being so young, he's 23 years old, to deny $440 million at the age of 23. That is, I mean, my age. I cannot imagine being in that situation. Obviously, this guy knows that he has a bigger deal coming perhaps somewhere or a better location. I think in his situation, he's just not happy in DC with the state of the Nationals. Obviously, already winning a World Series in his young MLB career. A very sought after player, as we'll see some of these trade destinations that I've seen on the Score app. But I'll get right into him. But Mackie, what do you think? Obviously, hearing that news.
Um, I don't know. I don't really know what to think of it. I mean, obviously, Nationals are awful this year, and the MLB is a league that usually ships off all their good players at like the deadline, teams that can compete, and then he'll sign his deal after that. But I don't. He's worth it. He's 23 years old. He's one of the best hitters in the league.
Yeah, and before we get into these trade destinations, I mean, being one of the best hitters in the league, winning the home run derby, obviously this past Monday night over Julio Rodriguez, a hell of a performance by both of them. I think throughout the whole night, I don't know if you guys watched it, but Julio Rodriguez putting on a hell of a performance, 30 plus home runs in each of the first two rounds, and Soto was just getting the job done on the other side of the bracket. He was batting second. So anytime he got one more, it was just kind of a walk-off, move on to the next round, cut the rest of your time. So, but Rodriguez throughout all the way up to the championship round, getting to face Soto, the 23-year-old Soto against a 21-year-old Julio Rodriguez. It was a crazy home run derby, and Soto coming out on top just a couple days after denying this massive deal. Just kind of a huge fucking big dick move, if you ask me.
Yeah, I agree.
But like I said, we'll get into some of these trade destinations that I found. So I'll just kind of read through them. Some of them, like you said, more realistic than others, but in no order. The LA Dodgers, in this situation, Dodgers receive Juan Soto. Nationals would receive Gavin Lux, Ryan Pepiot, Bobby Miller, Diego Cartaya, and Andy Pages. So just showing like, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys, and there's obviously still going to be like cash considerations. You know how stuff goes in the MLB. Second team, New York Yankees. Obviously, Yankees receive Soto. Nationals receive Gleyber Torres, Anthony Volpe, Oswald Peraza, Jason Dominguez, and Ken Waldichuk. So another five-player trade going back to the Nationals.
Anthony Volpe is the number one prospect in the MLB right now.
Okay, so
he's actually
obviously you get a guy like Torres in the lineup immediately, and then a bunch of prospects in the system. So I think that's something obviously with a lot of these trades you're going to see obviously more prospects. It's something the Nationals and obviously these younger MLB teams are looking for. Push this, you know what I mean? Push the can down the road. We'll kind of build for the future. But next destination, Toronto Blue Jays. This one's pretty interesting to me. I thought the Blue Jays were pretty high on this guy, but when you can land a guy like Soto, you'd send off to the Nationals Bo Bichette and a couple prospects, 4 other prospects, but a guy like Bichette has been a kind of a cornerstone player for that Blue Jays team the past couple of years. A team that I root for, even though they're in my Pirates division, St. Louis Cardinals. I'd definitely like to see him there, but a bunch of, you know what I mean? What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players. Liberatore, he's been a nice pitcher for them this year, going back to the Nationals. And then the last one, the Padres. This would be a very interesting scenario for him to go play out there with Tatis, Machado and a bunch of players going back, including an all-star this year and Jake Cronenworth. So lots of trade destinations. Obviously, like you said, some more realistic than others, but I'll let you get into that. Where do you think he could go out of these ones, just to be specific?
I like him I like him going to the Padres. I think that's a nice fit for him too, with the type of player he is and the type of team the Padres are, with all their like flashy play and their flashy players and being in San Diego.
I think he would fit in with Tatis really well.
Yeah, I feel like he's that type of player. But I like that Cardinals trade. I like that deal. I feel like Toronto's too much. You're giving up Bo Bichette, 4 prospects and 5 prospects. That's ridiculous. Yankees are giving up.
The one I didn't name, the Mets would be giving up pitcher David Peterson and You might know some of these guys: Francisco Alvarez, Brett Batty,
Yeah,
Ronnie
I only
Mauricio, and
know
Alex Ramirez.
Francisco Alvarez. I also don't mind that, but I don't want to. I don't want to pay him $440 million.
Yeah, I know what you mean. But it's
Yankees literally
like,
can't do it if they want to sign Judge. I feel like we could use somebody else in that spot. Juan Soto is a really good player, but we don't really have a good. I feel like players come to New York and die, at least in Queens. So I don't know. I feel like he wouldn't really fit in New York.
yeah, I think I'd love to see him go to St. Louis. I think that would be a really good situation for him. I do think the Toronto's trade would be too much for Toronto. I don't know how realistic that would be on their end. Um, and then the Dodgers are in play for everyone, so he'll probably go to LA.
You think he goes to Dodgers?
I mean, dude, they get everyone.
Nah, I don't think he goes to the Dodgers.
I don't want him to, but I'd like to see him go to the Cardinals out of these teams.
Yeah, me too.
And with all this talk about Juan Soto, he wins the home run derby over 21-year-old Seattle Mariners rising star Julio Rodriguez.
I kind of already ripped in through this.
I thought you did. Did you say the American
Yeah.
League won and everything?
No.
And with that, the American League wins the 2022 MLB All-Star Game by a score of 3-2. Us predicting that correctly. The Yankees outfielder Giancarlo Stanton would take home All-Star Game MVP honors in his first All-Star Game appearance with the Yankees.
Yeah, so like you said, Stanton hitting the 2-run shot. I think it was the 4th or 5th inning that sparked that comeback, and then they go back to back. Byron Buxton comes up right after the 2-run shot by Stanton that tied the game, hits a solo shot, make it 3-2. And as you said, final score 3-2. No one scored after that. AL wins. We had the AL money line. That was a nice little hit for us on what was that, Tuesday night. So yeah, not much else to say. AL now has won 9 straight.
Something like that, yeah. Low scoring game again.
Yeah, a lot of people, obviously, every All Star game, they're like, bet the over, bet the over, bet the over.
Yeah,
And
but I looked at the bets, and at least on CBS, it was like 61% under. So I was like, all right, well, it's not a trap. Might as well do it. And I did
yeah,
it, and I was wrong.
the Nerfy didn't hit because the NL scored in the first inning.
Yeah, I was actually gonna bet your fee too, but I don't know. I feel
Yeah, I
like
was like, it's
betting
the All
it.
Star game. If anything, I think they score in the first inning.
Yeah, you see Shohei Ohtani, first pitch swinging.
Yeah,
He said first
yeah.
pitch.
He said he.
He said first pitch I see, I'm swinging.
I was gonna say they showed that interview of him. That was pretty cool.
And more news out of the MLB. The league saying that they would not charge the Athletics a relocation fee if they relocate to Vegas. I think they need to move. You know, the Warriors relocating to San Francisco, Raiders relocating to Las Vegas. What do you guys got?
I think this is a situation that looks at they've been kind of having so many mock-ups of a new stadium for the past like 10 years, and they're just not going to get it because one, the team isn't good, and obviously the product on the field, and with the MLB, the salary cap, you know, you have to, what you pay is what you get in a lot of situations with the MLB and some of these teams, and a team like the Oakland A's has just been kind of mediocre the past uh, who knows how many years. I can't even really name a time in my lifetime where I remember them being like a serious threat. I could be wrong. I'm just blanking on a couple years, but they've had some players that have been really nice. But a team that I think,
And they lose him.
yeah, I think a relocation just would be good for this team. But
I
I
heard.
also understand the city of Oakland kind of keeping one of their teams, but they're never going to get a new stadium there. That stadium's a dump. They need to get out of there, in my opinion.
I heard that owner's a piece of shit and doesn't want to spend any money into the team. And I heard like fans. I could be wrong here, but this is what I remember seeing somewhere. the fans are like boycotting and everything because he's such a.
Yeah,
I
they're
mean,
just
dude, who they had
and
Matt Chapman, Mark Hanna. Like you had good players, and you just ship them off every single year you get them. They weren't bad last year. I think they made the playoffs. They
yeah,
were in a wild card game.
they've always had some nice pitchers that have come through their system too, and they just always get sent away.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I think they need to get out of Oakland. We've seen every other
Yeah,
team do it. So
they'll get a sick stadium in Vegas.
yeah, and it's gonna bring in so much more money for the NFL. That's why they aren't gonna charge them for relocating.
Yeah.
Alrighty. And I got two more little things to run off here. The Dodgers sell twice as many hot dogs as the next highest selling hot dog selling team. I thought
I
that
feel
was
like
pretty funny.
there's a signature hot dog at the Dodger game that I'm forgetting. I can't think of the name of, but
Have you been?
no. But I know like when like there's like those things when they talk about like signature things at each stadium. I want
Yeah,
to say like Dodger dog, but I feel like that's too expected.
yeah.
I believe that.
But yeah, it's something like that. That didn't surprise me too much when I saw that. But more than double the
There's
second
gotta
place.
be there's gotta be like a major promotion going on there for hot dogs.
Yeah, they got to
Yeah.
be like dollar dogs or
Yeah,
something.
it's gotta be something because like every stadium, like a hot dog is a huge thing. Like just get a hot dog. So that, like
Yeah.
at Dodger Stadium, it's gotta be something like drastic, like cheapness
Special, like you said, Huff,
or like
something.
it's gotta be some type of deal or special or something.
Mackie, you're a huge hot dog connoisseur. You would know.
I hate hot dogs. They're disgusting. You know what's in a hot dog?
Yeah, I do.
No, you don't. That's the thing. You don't know what's in a hot dog. Just like bologna. You don't know what's in bologna either. Gross. Same exact thing. How do we get to talking about what's in a hot dog?
My point was about hot dogs.
What a crazy stat. Good for them. Winning at everything.
Good for them.
Good for
They're
them.
just good at everything.
Alrighty, and finally to wrap up the episode, New York State reports $1.05 billion in online sports betting wagers in the month of June of 2022. New York has surpassed $1 billion wagered in each month this year thus far.
Damn, Mackie, you gotta chill out, dude.
Yeah, dude, like half of that's me.
Half.
Nah, it's crazy.
Hope the profit's coming back.
Everybody gambles nowadays. It's crazy because like I'll be like playing poker with my friends, like people you wouldn't even expect to like gamble, and they'll be like, "Yo, did you bet on anything tonight?" And I'm like, "What? You gamble?" And they're like, "Yeah, dude."
Yeah, dude, I know exactly what you mean.
There's one kid that I hang out with, literally knows nothing about sports, and he'll just like hit me up for random parlays and throw like $50 on it too. And I'm like, dude, you literally know absolutely nothing about any of this shit, and he still
Yeah.
gambles. It's just everyone does it. It's such a big part of sports nowadays.
It honestly, like, and with the NFL coming, you're gonna see some crazy gambling stats this NFL
Oh
season.
my god, especially like week 1.
Huh. Did you
Dude,
see?
I can't.
Speaking of big bets, Mattress Mac go back not to go back to the MLB, but put $2 million on the Astros again to win the
Always.
World Series.
I have a futures on the Yankees. They got them at plus 400. They're probably a little higher now, but like I felt like they probably should have been like 270 when I got them at 400, so I saw value.
What'd you put on it?
200.
Nice.
Yeah, so
Just
I don't-
plus 400.
Yeah, so I
So
got
2 to win 8.
2 to win 8 exactly.
Yeah, that's nice.
I mean, dude, they said to win it this year.
Yeah, honestly. That's gonna do it for me though. A little bit of a shorter episode. Not too much NBA stuff. But Mackie, what were you saying? Go ahead.
Do we have a countdown to NFL season? Was it 49 days?
Yeah,
7 weeks. 7
Literally.
episodes.
when this episode airs, is this coming out tomorrow, Jess? Thursday?
Yes, this will be out Thursday.
7 weeks
7
to the NFL regular season.
6 more episodes without it.
That's the countdown I needed. 6 more episodes
Well, we kind of got
until the
we
NFL
got,
season.
We got preseason 3 weeks prior, so
Yeah, and college football a week before that.
yeah.
Or not before preseason, a week
Week
before the
the
NFL
actual
season.
season, yeah. 5 weeks without.
It's right around the
College
corner,
football.
boys. We're almost there. We have not much to talk about right now. We're talking about Madden ratings in the middle of the summer, but
We're getting through the home
we're
stretch
working
of this.
with what we have. The NFL's coming. Stick with us. Show us the love on the Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, all that good stuff. See you guys next week. Thanks for listening.
Yeah. Great week again. Thank you, boys.
See you guys next week. And that's going to do it for us this week on Hit the Books podcast. Thank you for all the support week in and week out. Please be sure to share and check out our various social media platforms and check out our website. All the info is located in our link tree in the description below. And always remember to hit the books.
Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.